Hey, how's it going everyone? It is Only here. Welcome back to another video. Of course, as always, we are only 28 days away from the PlayStation 5 launching in most of the world and a week later in Europe and other parts of the world. Today, PlayStation surprised us with a new look at the PS5's UI. We've been waiting quite a bit for this, and Sony's kind of been, being pretty quiet about it. So today they finally opened up a bit, and I figured I'd go over it. It's actually quite a lengthy 11-minute video. It's actually like a state of play, even though it's just like a standalone video. Regardless, I figured it'd be the best way to go about doing this is just watching it with you. I've watched it once before, and I've taken down some notes, and I'll point out the things I've observed and think about the UI. So without further ado, let's go into it. Alright, so this will be how it looks when you first boot up the PS5. Icons are now circle, they're no longer the square, which is a change. I mean, just a change, nothing too big about that. I will say this is probably the first change that I'm kind of iffy about. So when you boot up your PS5, and initially it's going to be booting up to this screen here, and traditionally on PS4 you just boot up into the game. In my opinion, I'd rather just boot up into the game, and then if I want to see all these extra details, then I just press the button. Regardless, this is how it's going to be booting up. Hopefully there's a choice in that. They're going to go over this a bit more in the actual breakdown of what this all means, but this is essentially the activities function, cards, as Sony teased about a year or two ago when they first started talking to Wired about the PS5. So as you can see right down here, yeah, there's some information. I'm going to continue playing the video because they're going to show the screen quite a bit as we go along. It's deemed as the control center, and honestly, it's going to very much depend on per title how this is used and whether I want to use it. I'm really hoping that the cards feature is something that can be customizable. So like if I could choose what I see here in terms of like per game, that would be really good. So like immediately I know the news function I'm not personally going to use, so if I could take that out, that'd be great. Ideally, I would just have, single player, multiplayer, and other parts that I want to boot up to. Recently created a new screenshot. That's going to be good for, I guess, if you want to share a recent screenshot you took. Personally, I don't really use the screenshot button too much. By the way, I think it's worth noting this is essentially, I believe, going to replace the quick menu bar. So currently on PS4, when you hold down the PlayStation button, it has like a blue little bar that comes off to the side, has like all your basic information, and as you can see, that information is now viewable at the bottom. So that stuff will carry over going forward here, but this is like an added layer of customization and also essentially quick links to certain parts of the game, because the SSD reads this per title and displays this information. It has a lot of big potential, but it's going to depend on if I could change it to my liking as well as per game and what they use it for. So here we got Sackboy. This is going to be the hub per level. Sackboy, by the way, looks phenomenal. I'm looking forward to this game quite a bit. He mentions tapping the PlayStation button, which I am kind of interested in, so you don't have to hold it down. So this is essentially replacing the XMB or the main menu, so that's pretty interesting. And then as you go further down the right, you actually got other things like party integration, so like you can quickly join what your friends are playing in a certain party, which is pretty interesting. I'm hoping that you don't need to be in a party to be able to do stuff outside of the game you're currently playing, but okay, so this is actually a big one that a lot of people are talking about. Let's actually go a bit backwards to when they had a bit more on screen. So a lot of people don't like this, but PlayStation's going to be integrating quick tips into their games. So this one's a bit different. So like this is mainly for like collectibles in Sackboy, for this example at least. And essentially what it does is if you're a PS Plus member, you're going to actually have like built-in integrated tips onto the actual game. So let's say you miss an emote and you're looking for that, you can just go in here and get the tips to figure out where that emote is. There's like different degrees of the hint. So like if you really want a video, you can actually just stream a video of where to go. Yeah, people are complaining about that. In my personal view, it's going to depend. Like these things I don't really care about in terms of collectibles. Some people are worrying about, possibly trophies having this, but to be honest, everyone that uses trophies or actually goes for trophies, you guys all look up guides anyway. Like it makes no sense. So having this built in is actually pretty good just for, the casual audience. I know personally, like my dad, when he plays like a game every few years or so, he's always like texting me on what to do next. If they can integrate this on terms of like the actual campaign and like tips on how to beat a boss, that could be pretty cool. Once again, the information that people want, it's always found online. I guess this is making it more easy to find, but it's not that big of a deal in my opinion. So over here on the right, it looks like we have a little bit of a time estimate on certain activities, which is something that Sony also hinted at initially. Yeah, it sounds like this is going to be something that's actually baked into in terms of like the PS5 collecting user data and taking the average. At least that's how it's kind of explained in this video. So that means that developers won't actually have to manually insert times and stuff like that, which is really good considering, people won't use the feature if you have to do so much legwork for that. Again, it's nothing crazy, but yeah, we'll see if it gets used.
Some activities even let you jump directly to that place in the game.
That's a cool thing. So they're going to show that off here when they're clicking on this particular collectible.
For another example, let's open that activity back up.
Again, all about saving time, which is nice. God, dude, the Sackboy OST slaps. I swear they're selling this game more than the UI. So this is what I was on about earlier. Start off with a screenshot, then they kind of go into different tiers of help. It's really cool. I mean, I do like how it's kind of on the sidebar, so you don't have to like pull up on your phone or something like that. It's worth noting that these videos included are streamed, so this won't add in, like if they added this in terms of like the file size, it would build up bigger and bigger, so I'm glad that at least it's going to be streamed in. Otherwise, file sizes could get crazy if you had it per collectible. So yeah, pinning cards is pretty useful. Just having everything on screen detailed to how you want it. It's nifty. Okay, so this is actually something I forgot here. These notifications remind me of the PS Vita. I'll probably put up like a little bit of a comparison here, but it's very, similar. I like it. I'd say it's, it's sleek, it's black and sleek. I like it a lot. I personally don't really even have notifications when I'm playing on PS5. A lot of times if my friends hit me up, it's going to be on Discord anyway, so yeah, it's nice. I mean, I talked to a few people on voice chat that don't have Discord, but yeah, notifications will be black and they look pretty seamless and quick and snappy, which is nice. Yeah, dude, that definitely reminds me of the PS Vita. Share screen, like, who really used that on PS4? I've used it maybe like once or twice, and that's about it. It is a neat feature, but there's no real reason to use it, really. I guess if it becomes quicker and snappier, but it always comes down to like network. I do want to note that I'm actually really glad they introduced this as Uncharted Lost Legacy. So backwards compatibility games will be using a lot of these new UI features. Not like share screening is anything new, but just that it's going to seamlessly transition over and that there's going to be kind of like a blurred line between PS4 and PS5 titles. Cards also will be working on select PS4 titles, which is interesting. Once again, I really just hope I can choose the cards I want to see, because half that I'm not going to use. So here they're going to jump into a match of Destruction All-Stars through the party chat, which you have to scroll all the way past all these activities, which I find dumb. Pretty neat integration of just quickly joining games. And I think this is the first time we've seen a game boot coldly from a PS4.
Okay, I think we've got enough people on our party, so let's jump in.
Yeah, it's pretty snappy.
Focus on PS5's user experience today.
Again, this game hasn't really been shown much, so hopefully they show off some more of this game in the future, especially since it's $70. It does look interesting, but it is a multiplayer game for $70, so they have a long way to go to selling people in this game. So we're here, we're going to actually finally see what this create button does, and lo and behold, it's literally just like the share button. There could be more bells and whistles that they don't go into here, but essentially it's going to be a bit easier and snappier, so you can take multiple screenshots instead of, taking one and it being very slow. I mean, you could take multiple screenshots on PS4, but not many people know about that, so nice to have that kind of integrated here. The right is going to be for live streaming, of course, that's going to be carried over, and the left is going to be for video recording the last 15 minutes. I presume it's the last 15 minutes unless they change that cap here on PS5. And it's also worth noting that these screenshots actually are going up to 4K. I'm guessing video quality as well will go up to 4K. Gotta say, this game does look pretty good, like graphically. And here we are, the last 2 minutes, and they finally show off the main menu, and lo and behold, it looks exactly like the PS4, kind of. The icons are a bit smaller, as you can see. That's to fit more information about the game. With the PS3, as you hover over a game, it would change the background. That's returning here. You don't have to go beneath the title like you do on PS4. Which makes me wonder if themes are going to be brought over, because you're not going to see them much. And as it says right there, PS4 games will be getting some of these features. Explore, no idea why this is a thing, because no one uses the what's new thing on PS4. It's like just free advertisement. Like, I personally don't see a reason why this is a thing. Maybe if the casual audience doesn't know what's being updated on their games, I guess. Dude, this Ratchet and Clank image looks really good. Yeah. They also mention here that the PS5 store going forward is going to be on the PS5's user end, so it won't be like bottlenecked kind of by internet connection, so it should be a bit more snappier. I'm guessing the only time it's going to really bring in internet connection should be with downloads. Not sure how that's all going to work out. Again, they don't really jump into the store here, but yeah, the less bottlenecks, the better. Looks like it's going to be mainly using SSD. They do show some here, some quick, cards here for jumping into Destruction All-Stars Challenge Series. I'm guessing this is just things like certain campaign objectives and series on the campaign side of Destruction All-Stars. I do like how there is a playlist for solo, so let's say you want to jump in solo. Don't need to boot up the game, go into multiplayer and click on that. You can just click on this card. Again, I don't really want to scroll all the way over to the right to do this, so if I can add that to beneath the tile, that'd be great. Again, pretty, reminiscent of what we have currently now. I guess sending it to parties is something that's a bit new here. So whether or not that actually is useful, time will tell. And since every controller has a mic now, they're going to be heavily leaning in on creating your messages via voice. So once again, I gotta say the visual language is very slick. I really like how it's very similar to the PS Vita. And as we can see here, we got music, downloads, audio. Again, this is the quick bar. Just everything that kind of, we're used to. It's going to be, I believe, at the bottom now instead of at the top. The top is very reserved. It has games, media. Media is going to have its own side, so you don't have to worry about all the Netflix and, Disney Plus and all that shit kind of taking up the XMB or I guess the PS4 main menu. Everyone hates currently what the media looks like on PS4 because it's really annoying and slow. That's going to be on a whole different page, which is nice and out of the way. So yeah, with that, they're going to conclude here. Just once again, a quick look at everything going on. I do want to mention one last detail as he does power out the PS5. A lot of people are wondering if the PS5 is going to have quick resume, and they do say that you could suspend your games being plural, so there is a bit of a hint there. Once again, yeah, nothing concrete, but it does sound like we're going to be able to at least have multiple games saved in terms of a save state, so that'll be nice. It does seem like we should at least have that functionality, whether or not we can quickly jump in like Xbox currently has announced with their whole quick resume. I imagine if they did have that, they would announce it here, but it seems like PlayStation's quick resume is going to be in terms of its cards, I guess, so we'll see. Honestly, it's very dependent. The cards seem very personal to the game you're playing, so a lot of that's going to depend on how games use it and up to the developers and all that. Sackboy seems like it has fine integration. I don't know how I would really use it. I'm not really going to jump from level to level like that. I just use the world map as they showed off in this video today. So again, that's going to be dependent on how developers use it. So very, basic turn off, restart. That pretty much concludes everything about this UI. This is a nice little splash screen as it turns off. So very sleek design overall. That about wraps it up for today's video on the PlayStation 5 user experience. It looks pretty nifty. And yeah, we only got a bit of a slice about it. There's still a bunch in terms of going into the specific menus that we'll get once people get hands-on and all that. But on the surface, it does look pretty cool. Tiles are now a lot smaller at the very top of the screen, leaving a lot more detailed information on per game that you're playing. And yeah, only time will really tell. We only got a good look at Destruction All-Stars and Sackboy in terms of how they're using it. They haven't mentioned whether those are customizable, so we'll see how that can work out in the long haul. So yeah, make sure to let me know what you think about the PlayStation 5 user interface in the comment section down below. Do you like it more than the PS4? Do you like it less? I think for a lot of us, we're going to have to wait and see in terms of how it, uses on a day-to-day basis. Once again, we're playing games. We're not going to be staring at the UI for 24/7. It's supposed to complement the games, not be a whole different section there. So yeah, really looking forward to getting my hands on with this. I do like how slick it looks. Even looking at this Ratchet and Clank image here, I like how the image in the background pops more than the tiles. So really gives you kind of a center of focus. Digital Foundry did talk to some people at Sony, and they have been able to confirm that the background in terms of the PS5 UI is going to be in 4K and HDR, which is really nice. So for those of you that have 4K TVs or monitors, it's going to look really good from the get-go here. And yeah, I'm excited, man. 4 weeks away until launch, and yeah, PS5 keeps its momentum. Say what you want about Sony drip feeding information, but they're dropping kind of some big information here just weeks before release, and it's nice to keep having things to look forward to and keeping that momentum. So yeah, make sure to subscribe to the channel as we get closer and closer to launch, and we'll be covering all the news that Sony drops along the way. And yeah, my next video will most likely be a review on Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time. Really enjoyed the game and I want to talk about it here, so look forward to that review in the coming days. Currently editing and writing the finishing touches on that video. So yeah, with that being said, make sure to follow me on Twitter for updates and more on the channel and my personal life. Make sure to follow me on Twitch. We're going to be going live a lot more lately here. I believe I'm going to be streaming about 3 or 4 days a week here, and yeah, I might be even live later today as you're watching this video. So with that being said, of course, I've been Brandon or Online. Make sure to be subscribed to the channel to be notified of future videos on the channel, and until I see you next time, take care.